Palm Beach Boat Show. Always a great place to meet people, and I ran into Ryan. We were just chatting, right? And like I said, like, how big is XPEL? He said, like, well, we only have over 6,000 installers in the world.
Yeah, a small company.
So a small company. I was like,
company.
oh my God, like, that's larger than our industry, isn't it?
It's big.
It is big.
Big.
Yeah. So, just for people that do not know you, like, Ryan, introduce yourself for a second.
All right. My name's Ryan Tounsley. I'm the director of Marine for XPEL. And I guess the best way to describe who XPEL is would be where I kind of want to go first. So XPEL's been around over 25 years. We're the leader in the paint protection film industry, or the film that goes over, a lot of people know it for the front of their vehicles.
Yeah.
This is where it was basically where it came from. So over the years, XPEL just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and what they found out was nobody was really servicing the marine industry. So all of our products that we made for the automotive world, which we're the experts in, we just basically ripped them all apart and made them a little bit more, a little more hardy, that they'll withstand our lovely environments that salt water throws at it.
Because it is different, right? It's not exactly the same product, Aaron.
No, not at all.
Now, if I take that film from my car and put it on my boat, that's not going to work, right?
It's going to probably last, if you get lucky, maybe a year. The salt water is just going to eat away at it. Yeah. So we had to basically take it, make the top coat a little bit stronger, make the adhesive have a little bit more of a bite. Same with ceramic coatings, it just had to be more durable. You know, if you think about it, people don't understand. They're like, well, why can't I put the same thing for my car on my boat? I was like, is your car floating in the water? It's not.
No, but it is one of those things. It's like, if people don't realize that. Let's talk about you, because like we're doing these things because we want to get to know the people in our industry, and you've got an interesting story.
Yeah, I've been in the industry a while.
Yeah, you've been in the industry a while.
Yeah, so how would you say my expertise, or what I bring to the table for this is, I started a company 24 years ago, and it was more automotive based, and we catered to those little cars like Koenigsegg and Bugatti and Pagani. But we were
like the regular ones.
Just the regular.
Yeah,
ones.
you're just like
grocery getters. You're grocery getters. So what we did is I just kept growing that, and so we just kept getting bigger, ended up having 4 locations, and we started to kind of play around with the marine industry.
Because it's the same owners probably, right? Those people that had those cars probably also had the boats.
Absolutely, and it can be from a wakeboard boat all the way up to a super yacht. Yeah. And there's everybody in between, because in our industry of maritime, it's loaded with excess income. And that's what it is. It's everybody that wants to have something to protect what they bought. They want it to last longer. They don't want to take so long to work on it. So when I was approached by XPEL, they're like, we think there's something here. Would you, let's say we wanted to do this and look at it full on. So they actually acquired my company a year ago and said, listen, we just want you to take over Marine and kind of run with it and make it a powerhouse. So no, they didn't just hire me for my good looks, because that would have been over last week. So, it's more of a, how would you say, they brought me to the table so that when I talk to somebody, I know what I'm talking about. I've been doing this probably more than most people in the country or in the world that do it. So I just had to adapt from the automotive world over to the maritime industry, and it's just different lingo. I mean, I've had boats before, and I love being out on the water, and it's to tell me that I could have to not do cars anymore and now I got to hang out on the water, it wasn't a hard sell.
Well, I don't know. I love my cars.
I do too.
So I don't know how hard sell that is, but because this is interesting, because we're talking about what people sometimes do not understand, especially in our industry. Let's say the crewed vessels, right? It's a different time. How different is that to deal with that audience compared to the cars?
Night and day. Completely different.
So what's the key difference?
There's different needs. There's different wants. There's different problems that need to be solved. So if you're looking from the automotive world, listen, my car, I'm driving down the road and I don't want to get rock chips, so I put the film on the front of my car. Well, there's not a lot of rock chips that happen on a super yacht. And if you are, you probably have bigger problems. So you're in more trouble anyway. Ceramic coating, the same thing. On a car, I want it to make it ease of clean, I want it to look really shiny and easy. Yeah, that's nice, but you can wash your car in 30 minutes. It takes a little longer to, do a 110 footer. It takes a little longer.
It is. Washing it down.
Washing it down, and what people assume, we don't do a lot with XPEL. We do some stuff for the interior, but that's not where our focus is. But on the vessels, when you're getting into the super yachts, most of ours is actually done on the interiors. Tabletops, we're doing the galleys, we're doing the appliances, we're doing those beautiful...
I didn't even realize that. I thought you would be very exterior focused.
No, they are. So the smaller the vessel gets, the more we go to the outside.
Yeah.
So on a wakeboard boat, yeah, we're doing the hulls, we're doing the transom, we're doing the swim deck, we're covering the screens, ceramic coating it, because it's fully exposed, and it's, 36 foot long. So we're just trying to make it so it's easier to keep clean and it looks newer longer. As the boat gets bigger, now we come into the top side. Now we're doing gunnels, we're doing, high impact areas, we wrap where the cleats are. And then when we talk about the chief stew. That's a lot of the people in the super yacht industry is we're like, what's your biggest thing that drives you crazy? And the first thing out of their mouth, scratches on tabletops.
Yeah, I can get that. But I didn't know there was a coating for that.
It's a film. So we have different films for different problems. So it's not a one size fits all. It's not one product does everything. There's different products for different uses. And that's where we have an upper hand. There might be some other companies out there offering a film doing this, or maybe a coating that does that. But there isn't anybody out there that brings, over 20 years experience, developing your own products and spending millions of dollars in R&D just for a coating that we can put on upholstery or on vinyl in the marine industry.
And if you look at that, because I know the marine industry, and I know you are doing crewed vessels, uncrewed vessels, from smaller vessels to bigger vessels. I know you do know. So it's a big industry, but still, it's a small industry.
It is. It's very small.
Compared to cars,
But there's more boat manufacturers than there are automotive.
That's true.
So when you think about that, that's a lot of people that don't understand that when they look at it, and they're like, you're going after boats. How many are there? I was like, have you looked how many boat manufacturers there are? It dwarfs the automotive so
who are your clients?
Everybody. It doesn't matter. It can be the crewed vessels. It can be the persons that has the wakeboard. They may have a pontoon that they take their family out in. When on a crewed vessel, when you get into the big boy yachts, they have the tenders, they have the center consoles, they have wakeboard boats that they've tucked underneath.
But how do you then market that? Because it's so many different flavors.
Go to Palm Beach.
We love Palm Beach, but you know what? You understand what I'm saying, right?
It comes back to almost guerrilla marketing. You're on feet on the streets. You're still using what's out there right now. You're still going social media. You're trying to market. You're doing some targeted ads. But the best thing to do is word of mouth.
Because it's the maritime industry, right?
It's maritime. It's, people don't, and I'm sure everybody that's in the industry understands that. But somebody new to the industry doesn't realize that the dock talk, or a captain who you did really bad work for, or you bumped heads with the chief stew, you're done.
Oh, you're done. I always say
like that.
I always say and I know it's not completely true, but I also compliance in our industry is called a friend.
Yeah.
And I know it's not completely true. I know people also ask for quotations. It's not that, but it is very much about trust and reputation in the end. And that's why I'm so interested, because when I just ran into you, say hey Ryan, we need to have a chat, is because you're such a massive company, and obviously you've got all these distributors, installers. They need to do the work in the end. They can use your product,
and that's my job, is to make sure that anybody that shows a desire to take our XPEL products and go into the maritime industry, that they do it correctly. And we want to do that to protect the consumer, with the end user. We want to protect ourselves, so that's why we wanted, before we came to the market, we needed to make sure that we had the right warranty, and not an exaggerated warranty where every claim would get declined. We need to make a realistic warranty, and then we also, for our dealers, and like we said, we have 6,000 dealers around the world.
6,000?
We're not just in Florida, we're not just in Texas, it's global.
Are you in Europe already?
We were talking about that earlier, so I actually leave at the end of March, and I fly to Italy, And April 1st, we launch Italy. And then April 11th, we launch Amsterdam. April 15th, we launch Spain. So I'm going to be in Barcelona. In July, we launch Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. And then in the fall, we launch Abu Dhabi, Qatar. And we've just soft launched in Japan. And when I come back from my trip to Europe, I'm home for 5 days and I go straight to Canada and we will launch in Canada.
I'm going to be very honest with you. I've been in the industry for a long time. Why? And I didn't know XPEL. That's my fault. I realized
no, it's not your fault. 100% it's not your fault.
Why?
Because nobody knows about XPEL in marine yet. And here's why. If you take a look at the film for the automotive side has been around, I mean, I started in 2000. And even then, I had to try to explain to people, hey, I sell, and then we all called it a clear bra. And that always led for very interesting startup conversation, be like, I sell a clear bra. That's not what they were thinking. They really thought it was a clear bra.
Yeah.
So as we went into it, it became more of an educational. We had to tell them what we manufactured. And they're like, I don't need that. I've got the vinyl bra, the black, remember the old black vinyl bras that you would put on the front of a car?
Yeah.
They said, I already have that. I was like, it ruins your paint. And we had to explain to them why it's here and what it does, and it's clear and there's less maintenance. So it's all an education purpose. Now fast forward to 2025, maybe 3 to 4% of the automotive industry knows what clear bra is. Now let's take a look at maritime. You had no idea what it is.
No, I didn't.
I would bet right now where we are in, how would you say, educational in the marine industry, we're 20 years back. So it is to the point where we now have to take a step back, rethink the whole process, and say, all right, what do we need to educate the people in the marine industry? Why do you need our product? It's not made for everybody. Not everybody needs it. You may need ceramic coating, you may not need the film. But if you think about the big yachts and your cabin cruisers and your day boats, you need window tint. And people are like, I don't care, I'm in the sun. Do you run the air conditioning in the yacht? Well, of course. Well, if we tint your windows, it requires less energy because it's not requiring so much on your HVAC system, which is less work on your generators, which is less consumption of fuel. It's a trickle-down theory.
So it pays back. It's a good business
The
case.
ROI is very quick.
Yeah.
So, and it looks nice, it creates a better look, or you can put a clear film, still blocks all the heat, but it doesn't change the look. We have a solution for a problem that they don't know they have yet, to watch that light switch go on, and they're like, oh my. Yeah. Do you mean I don't have to keep calling someone to come refinish my varnish tables every third time we come into port? I'm like, no. And instead of you spending $2,000 or $3,000 to polish off that main dining room table, if it really does get damaged, we steam the film off. We're in and out in a couple hours. And you're finished, you're on the road. Where if you have a deep scratch or a stain from a glass, or if it's on granite and you put some lemon or any type of acidic,
exactly,
it etches it.
It does.
And now you got to come out and do a poultice on it and try to get the stain out and polish it. Our film is impervious to that. You can literally put diesel fuel on it, oil and lemon, and come back in a week and just wipe it off. It doesn't harm it.
I'm going to try that out, guys. I am going to try it. Thank you so much. This was super interesting.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm happy I ran into you, and I have some ideas. We'll talk about it.
All right, I'd love to.
Good.
All right,
good.
Thank you.
We're going back to the show.
All right.
See you guys. Thank you.
Thanks. No problem.